Hello, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And yes, the daily uploads are carrying on for now. They're carrying on for now. I'm struggling to figure out what I'm going to upload on Saturday. And I'm struggling to know what I was going to upload today. But we're trying our best. Before we get into anything, we're nearly on 300 subscribers as I'm recording this. So please subscribe. And also, I've got a live stream with none other than Big Steve tomorrow, Manchester City fan. I will be talking West Ham and Manchester City, obviously previewing the game on Sunday. And I'll be at 1 p.m. UK time on a Friday. Now, today's video is about why West Ham need to get their business done early. Now, typically, under any sort of regime, and it's been slightly better under David Moyes, but West Ham don't seem to get their business done early at all. Now, the problem was with the 2023 summer transfer window is that if you remember, Mohamed Kudus, Konstantinos Mavropanos, Edson Alvarez and James Ward-Prowse were our four signings, and they all signed after pre-season. In fact, James Ward-Prowse played a game for Southampton in the Championship. He played on the very first day against Sheffield Wednesday, and that was the first ever game of the Championship season. It was Friday Night Football, and this was around the time where West Ham were missing out on Ward-Prowse. I was upset. And then we signed him like the next week. Edson Alvarez, the transfer was talked about for a very, very long time. And what I mean is that we were linked, I'm pretty sure, even in January. I might be misreading that, but it was us and Dortmund, and we were linked for a very long time. That being the Declan Rice replacement. Obviously, there were other players that were linked as well. We bidded for Paulinho. He was actually nearly going to go to Bayern Munich, Paulinho, but he actually stayed at Fulham because the transfer didn't go through. Dennis Zakaria was linked, very injury prone, probably wouldn't have worked. And the Ward-Prowse alternatives were McTominay and Gallagher. But going back to Edson Alvarez as well, that transfer was talked about a few weeks before, the exact same price that he was signed for, which was around 35-40 million, by Mike Verich, or whatever his name is, the guy who's the Dutch guy who reports on Ajax stuff. And he reported that weeks before that West Ham could go in and get him for this amount, and he actually did sign in the end. Mavropanos was their latest signing. Obviously, the original centre-back that West Ham wanted to sign was Harry Maguire. Mavropanos was signed. Mavropanos and Kudus were signed around the time when we beat Brighton. When we beat Brighton 3-1 at the Amex. It was that game. And none of these players had a pre-season. I'm trying to think. Season before, we signed a lot of players, and we actually got players in pre-season. So Flint Downs was there pre-season. I'm pretty sure Emerson was signed with him pre-season. Actually, Emerson might not have been there, but Kera wasn't because he was an emergency centre-back signing. Aged was in pre-season, but he got injured. Was Skamaka there? Skamaka might not have been there, but that was slightly better. Maxwell Cornet, I'm not sure. Maxwell Cornet was signed and announced on the first game of the season, ironically, where we faced Manchester City. And we're looking at a rebuild. And we'll talk about more of the rebuild when the season has ended. I will be talking in detail. I might have a guest on as well. And I'm going to I'll do a live stream on why West Ham needs to rebuild next week. But the reason why we need to get everything done is because a new manager is going to include his own philosophy. Now, I remember when we did the Australian tour, which was 2 games against one of the Australian teams, and we faced Tottenham in Australia. Don't know why. But I remember facing Tottenham. They had a new manager, Ange Postecoglou, coming in. And already I could see everything he was trying to do. I could see inverted wing-backs, like just the way the midfield wants to play, etc. And a whole style of football. Like instantly you saw it. You didn't see it at its full effect because it was literally his first game. In the first game of pre-season, he had something there. What we need to see is something there for our team. And obviously, I talked yesterday about the Freddie Potts and George Murphy thing about them having the chance to impress in pre-season. before going out on loan. Obviously, there's uncertain futures of certain players as well. But we need to get deals done, and there's reports of us getting deals done, but I need to see action. So I'm not taking these reports for gospel. So less of this and more action, please. We have a technical director that approved this manager, so there's no excuses going into the transfer window. And if I see a lack of business, then I know who I'm directing at, and that's David Sullivan, because this is Sullivan we're talking about here. That doesn't mean the technical director doesn't take blame as well. But I think everyone would be more suspicious of Sullivan because we've seen this story before. And the reason why we need to do business early is so we can integrate all these players within the style of play. So when we go into the games, into the Premier League games, everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone in the squad is ready. And everyone in the squad will fight for their place. You know, they'll fight for their place. They will also have competition as well. We have competition in all positions, but outgoings as much as incomings. Both sides need to be active. There's a lot of players that do need to leave, and there's a lot of players that we need. Like, I don't know what players we can sign. I don't know who we're really linked with. We're not really strongly linked to anyone, apart from the Corinthians guy Wesley, who we're not going to raise the price for. So you can rule that one out already. So that's the first target missed, and we're only in May. The transfer window hasn't really even started. It's not June, it's not July. But also, the reason why we need to do business early as well is because I mentioned this on a couple of videos and a couple of live streams before. There's international tournaments coming up, guys. There's Copa America and the Euros. So it's going to be very hard to sign players in general because these international tournaments do have an effect on things, such as the last time there was a Euros, we signed all the players after the Euros. I'm pretty sure Zuma who we did sign in that season wasn't even in the Euros. But someone like an Alex Krau, who was linked for so long, we signed on deadline day. Nikola Vlasic was signed on deadline day. Areola was signed deep into August as well. Those were the 4 signings that we actually signed in that window as well. And those were all late. Those were all late signings as well. So this is going to be hard to, have outgoings and incomings. And that's going to be the main struggle, is who are we going to get, how are we going to get the deals done, etc., etc. Because if we wanted to sign an African player in the January transfer window, they might have been an African Cup of Nations. Like, we wouldn't have been able to sign him anyway. Apparently there was interest in Sebastian Haller going to another Premier League club, but they couldn't get the deal done because he was literally in AFCON. So how is he going to get the medical done? They might have had to do the medical in Ivory Coast at the time, but whatever. But it's very important that we get this done. So, like, every new signing is integrated within the philosophy of what the manager is trying to do. So we don't have any problems with anyone settling in that is new. No one takes long to settle in. But that's just my opinion. A lot of people are talking about Pablo Fornals now because someone posted the Pablo Fornals creative stats. And I get it. Don't get me wrong, David Moyes did play him out of position, but the way you people react about Pablo Fornals is like he's fucking Dimitri Payet times 10. Like, we've seen better footballers at this club, and we will see better footballers at this club. The attachment to Pablo Fornals, the Ben Johnsons, the Aaron Cresswells at this club is, honestly, it bemuses me. I don't know whether that bemuses is the right word, but it confuses me on why there's such an attachment to, I'm sorry, but Fornals is average at best. Now, he couldn't thrive in a team that was going to counter-attack all the time. And I get it, players that play out of position. It's the same criticism I've used for when Ward-Prowse as well, because I think Ward-Prowse has been played out of position, even though it's literally the manager's signing. He's literally played him out of position as well. He played him on the left, played him at the 10. I'm not also saying that Ward-Prowse is some mad creative genius. My thing with Ward-Prowse is the fact that this guy was a box-to-box midfielder who was technically secure at someone like a Southampton under Ralph Hasenhüttl, but Moyes has made him very, very shit. We saw when we played on the front foot against Leverkusen, what we were really expecting from someone like a Ward-Prowse. But listen, whatever is what it is. I think there's too much of an attachment to some of these players. The better, the quicker some of these players leave, the better, because some of the attachment to average players needs to stop. Ben Johnson's not the be all and end all. We need a better right back than both better than Johnson and Soufal. In fact, we probably need two, if I'm being completely honest. I know people commented yesterday in my video about Johnson and Soufal, but honestly, we could do with better. Just use scout properly. I'm not trying to see us linked to Enquiries either, just because he's a former player of Lopetegui's. That's a lazy signing. He's not even that good either. I know he has a good... People can say, oh, but his goal record. His general game is not that good. And I don't think he'll be that clinical in the Premier League either. That screams a flop. And I watched him in the World Cup as well. He's not that good. Anyway, make sure to like the video. We're on the road to 300 subscribers. Live stream tomorrow at 1 p.m. I'm on the road to 500 subscribers after 300 as well. We're trying to hit that before the end of the year. So social medias are in the description if you want to follow me. Leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Email for any inquiries. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.